Hi, everybody. We're going to continue with Ghost. We are partway through chapter 4. It looks like Ghost is partway through his first day on the team. He was suspended and spent the day with Coach, which looked like it was doing the job. He was really bonding with him. And then he made a comment about Usain Bolt and how Usain Bolt wasn't very fast, and Coach just made him run and run and run and run. And now it looks like a practice has started, and they've introduced all the team members. And where we left off was just call me Ghost as he's being introduced to his team. Coach gave me a look. Actually, everyone gave me a look. Probably because I didn't have no shirt on and my pants were rolled to my knees and my belt was yanked so tight it made the denim bunch around my waist like genie pants, but whatever. I was going to tell them that, son, Coach said. Then he turned back to the rest of the team. Lastly, this is your assistant coach, Coach Witt. Coach Witt was the woman with the braids. She also had chubby cheeks, and like I said, she looked too old to be on the team, but she definitely didn't look old enough to be nobody's coach. Then she pulled a whistle from underneath her sweatshirt, so that pretty much meant she was. Give it up for your squad, Coach told us, slapping his hands together. This is going to be a great season. Everybody cheered and clapped for maybe 10 seconds before Coach shut it down and told us it was time to get to work. He divided everyone up into whatever their specialty was. Because most of the other kids had been running track for like forever, Coach knew who was a sprinter, who ran long stuff, and who ran all the junk in the middle. As far as the newbies were concerned, Sonny was a long runner, and Patty ran the in-between. Me and Lou were the sprinters. I never even knew I was a sprinter. So guess what we were doing for practice? Sprinting. And guess who had just finished sprinting and didn't get to take a break? Me. Today is Wednesday, and Mikey, why don't you inform our newbies about what sprinters do on Wednesdays? Coach said. Mikey was a vet sprinter, a light-skinned kid with braces and a rock face, the kind of guy who you didn't really say too much to because you just assumed he would say nothing back. It's up to Coach, of course. Ladders, Mikey grumbled. That's right. Coach paced back and forth. 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time Coach called a number, he clapped his hands together like a cheerleader. Okay, let me explain what Coach was talking about because I didn't have a clue at first either. All those numbers, the 4s, the 3s, and all that. Yeah, add 100 on the end and then add a meters at the end of that. So 400 meters, 300 meters, 200 meters, and so on. We had to run those. Down the ladder to 100, then back up to 4. I didn't think the day that started that kind of bad, then got good, then got bad, then got better, then got bad again, could get worse until Coach told me that Lou, Mikey, and Aaron, the 4 sprinters on the boys' side, to get into the line, 4 words I was already sick and tired of hearing. The whistle blew, and well, Lou, Mikey, and Aaron blew me away. Back on the line, this time for the 300. Toasted. Back on the line now for the 200. Roasted. Back on the line for the 100. Dusted. 5-minute break, Coach said. Grab some water. He came over to me, put his hand on my shoulder. I was literally folded in half, trying to catch my breath. My eyes were watering, but I knew better than to cry. I ain't no crybaby, especially not over no running. You all right? Coach asked. I couldn't get the words out. Every time I tried to speak, the sound was shoved back in my throat by a sharp inhale. So I just nodded. Then Coach squeezed my shoulder and pulled me up so that I was standing straight. Remember what I told you, stand tall. I put my hands on my head and wove my fingers together. Now hustle up and get some water. Coach nudged me. You only got 3 minutes. Here's the thing that I didn't really know about being on a team. There are rules to drinking water. I mean, I guess it might be different on different kinds of team, but on this team, everybody had their own water bottle that they had brought with them. So when I went over to the bench with the other sprinters, I just sat down. Didn't ask nobody for a swig or nothing because, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like something I should do. The only feel I had for these guys was that Lou was cocky and Mikey seemed way too serious to share, and Aaron, well, I couldn't even get a read on him at all. So I figured 3 minutes to catch my breath was just as good as water. It would have to be. Where's your water, newbie? Aaron asked, looking down the row. I forgot it, I replied, the fire in my chest finally cooling down. Here. Aaron leaned his bottle out. Take some, and don't put your mouth on it either. Lou leaned back so I could grab Aaron's bottle. I held it above my head and squeezed the bottle till the water shot through the nozzle like a jet stream, splashing me in the face, some even getting in my nose. Eventually, I hit the target, my mouth, which was when I realized I was wrong. Water was way better than just catching your breath. Way, way better. After I handed the bottle back to Aaron, Lou finally had something to say. Yo, what are you doing here? He asked. The way he said it made it sound like the words had been bubbling up inside of him. What do you mean? I replied. I'm doing the same thing you're doing. Running. Lou looked at me like I was speaking a different language. Is that what you call that? He jabbed. I mean, yesterday you were big and bad, and today you're just bad. Plus, we all had to try to prove we belong here, and you just walk on our track like you one of us. Lou was giving me the stink eye stare, and I was looking to see if Aaron or Mikey agreed with him, but neither of them showed any sign of hate. I got the feeling Mikey never showed any sign of anything, ever. Dude was a blank stare. I tried to keep my cool because I was all the way clear on what the punishment would be if I did something stupid. Plus, he was just talking trash, and it was just a little bit of trash. He wasn't going to do nothing to me. I knew that for sure. Still, I had to ask, you mad about yesterday? Is that what this is about? Me proving you ain't all that fast? And then I had to add that you just got on a fancy suit, trying to front like you're Usain Bolt. It felt good to throw that name out there, like I really knew what I was talking about, especially since I had to pretend that I didn't think Lou's gear was the sweetest I had ever seen. Especially the shoes. Oh man, those shoes. They were bright green and looked like they were made specially for him. They had to have been helping him run. Ain't nobody trying to be Bolt. I'm gonna be better than Bolt. Plus, at least I got on running clothes. You out here in your daddy's gear pretending to be something you're not. Oh no. I could feel the altercationness creeping in my chest like a new kind of lightning. The black was turning red again, and I really wasn't trying to be a repeat offender on the bully beatdown, not in the same day, but Lou was begging for it. What'd you say about my daddy? I asked, my head cocked to the side, which is pretty much the universal symbol for you better watch yourself, homie. I'm just saying, if you can't afford running gear, at least wear pants that fit. And what are those shoes? Sykes, Freebox? Chill, Mikey said flat. That was all he said, just chill. Aaron followed up. Yeah, take it out on the track, newbies. Luckily, Coach blew the whistle and called us all back to the starting line. I stood up. Lou stood up. We eyeballed each other for a second until Coach barked, hustle up. Aaron finally pushed me towards the track, and Lou had no clue how lucky he was. It was time to run back up the ladder, starting with the 100. My adrenaline was still pumping from all that trash Lou was talking. I didn't even do nothing to this dude, and he felt like he could just snap on me, like I was some chump. Who is he? I thought. What gave him the right to just make fun of me for no reason, like he was perfect? He's the one got ink color in. He's the one who looked weird. Why didn't I at least get on him about that? Stupid. But that's okay, because when Coach blew the whistle, I kept up with Lou on the 100. In fact, I might have even beat him. On the 2, I did okay, but it was on the 3 where the day got even worse. I was wiped. There was nothing that was going to make me quit. Not after that trash talk. Plus, I could tell Lou was tired too. He was panting even harder than I was, and he didn't even have the pre-workout workout. Coach even had to tell him to stop bending over, which made me feel good to know I wasn't the only one who felt like I was dying. But when the whistle blew and we started running, what I didn't know was that one of my shoes had become untied. By the time I realized one lace was flapping around, we were halfway through the sprint. And I was still keeping up with Lou, and there was nothing that was going to stop me from beating him. So I pushed on. We rounded the bend, Lou leaning into it, which I honestly thought was kind of cool, and then we hit the straightaway. I had my elbows tucked in everything, but my shoestrings, they apparently hated me. I stepped on one, I guess. I mean, who really knows how anyone trips over shoestrings? They're just strings. How can you trip over a string? I don't know. But I did, and it was bad. Not only did I do the whole slow motion stumble, fall thing, but to make it even worse, yeah, we're in the negative worse at this point, my shoes came off, both of them. Off. Of course, at that exact moment I slammed into the track. Everyone else who had just been working on their specialties just happened to be looking toward us. Oh, was literally what everyone howled. Everyone, even Coach. I lay there on my stomach for a second before finally rolling over and sitting up. And we're going to stop there.